What radio? The music you want.
With your host, Keys Dan.
Do I make you horny, baby?
RadioWhat.com. What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live in a living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do you go? DJLittleRock.com. Check availability, get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me entertaining at your next event. I like to play for the people. Coming up in the program today, it's Darragh of Kusha Deep Music. Kind of excited to talk to him. He's based out of the UK, and we're going to learn more about Darragh and Kusha Deep Music. This week's shows, well, let's see, it's Thursday in the morning. So this evening, I'll be at the Old Post Barbecue in Russellville, Arkansas for the video dance party, karaoke jam, family friendly in Russellville. Have some good food, have some good fun. Bring everyone to the Old Post Barbecue, and they have some frosty beverages for the adults. But, you know, I keep the music kid friendly for the kids. It's a good after-school treat. Old Post Barbecue in Russellville, Arkansas. That's from 6 to 9 this evening, Thursday evening. On Fridays, tomorrow night, I'll be at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. The Rab. Yeah, it's a nice big club in Conway, Arkansas. The reason they call it Rab, and they kind of put the letters backwards, if you pass it in your rearview mirror, it's going to say bar, and you're going to go, oh, I just passed that place. So they have a video dance party, karaoke jam. It's a 21 and over party, so leave the kids at home with a babysitter, I hope, you know, if they're too young to take care of themselves. Don't let me tell you how to raise your kids. But the Rab on Friday nights, that starts at 8 p.m. and it goes until 1:30 or closer to 2 in the AM. I usually keep playing music because people are like, one more, please, one more. We're not ready to go yet. No. So they have the full bar, the kitchen, the pool tables, pool tournament on Friday nights, and they have the shuffleboard and the foosball, Jenga game, the checkers outside, giant checkers game. So yeah, come on out to the Rab and you could sing. You could be a star right here at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. That's Friday night, starting at 8 p.m. Be there early. Sing a lot. You're the star of the show. Saturday night, I'm at Heber Springs VFW, Heber Springs, Arkansas. They have the big room. Oh my goodness, this room is big, beautiful, fully remodeled. The walls are freshly painted. The floor is just shiny and it looks like a checkerboard. It's beautiful, beautiful room. And the stage set up on different levels. So I say if a band was there, you could have a guitarist on one level, another guitarist on the other level, the drummer on a different level, and then you have a singer down the front, you know, the front man or front lady, you know, the front person right there. So that room is set up to party, I'll tell you. And I'm very privileged to be at the Heber Springs VFW in Heber Springs, Arkansas on Saturday night. And this Saturday night, very special. It's a 90s themed party. You know, I'll stick to the theme a little bit, you know, unless we need to go off theme. But it's the karaoke finale championship. And I'm kind of excited to be a part of that. They've been having a karaoke contest throughout the week. And they said, Keys Dan, will you come and do the karaoke finale? And I said, yes, I will. To be in that big room again? Yeah, no problem. That is Heber Springs VFW on Saturday night. Starts at 8 p.m. So be there. Thursday at the Old Post Barbecue, Russellville, Arkansas. Friday at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. And Saturday at the Heber Springs VFW, Heber Springs, Arkansas. Ooh, my weekend is set. Without further ado, let's talk to Darragh Brady of Kusha Deep Music. Kind of excited about that. Skyping Darragh Brady now.
Hello?
Hi, Darragh, please.
How you doing? All right.
Oh, it's good. Of Kusha Deep? Do I have the pleasure?
Yep, that's it. You certainly do, sir.
Fantastic.
Can I just take 2 seconds just to get on with... Believe it or not, I'm right in the middle of doing a music workshop, but we put a little bit of time aside for you guys to tune in with you. So I'm just going to get set up in a little room where we can have a little chat, and jobs are good, man. So how's it all going? All good?
Oh, it's good. Go ahead. Get yourself settled.
Yeah.
The people will wait.
I will.
They certainly will for the famous Darragh. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah, Darragh's good, man. That's it's an Irish name, so it's a fantastic kind of vibe, really. But yeah, it's all good. I'm just trying to find a little space where we can do our little routine. I'll have to do it in the hallway, I think. Just that I do this music workshop basically on a Thursday afternoon, and it's for a dementia care home, and it's just go through all the sort of rock and roll kind of stuff, and everyone has a grand old time. Do you know what I mean? We've just been doing Chuck Berry and all that kind of tip, and talking about the old days, Beatles, and there's some amazing people here, actually, to be fair. Because one guy, he saw Roy Orbison with the Beatles back in 1962.
Oh my, amazing!
And you get these. Yeah. He saw, and I know the venue that he saw that because it's quite a famous space down in a place called Brighton, and Roy basically did this show at the Hippodrome. It was a beautiful venue back in the day. It doesn't exist anymore. Oh. And fantastic vibe. And these guys he remembers being there, and said he was just talking about it 2 seconds ago, saying it was absolutely packed, but amazing night. You know what I mean? So yeah, and I met guys here that were actually at the Isle of Wight festival, which had Jimi Hendrix playing the Doors, and so there's some really interesting people. Do you know what I mean?
This is what happens when you get these experiences. You teach them, you pass them along, you relate those experiences to other people, and it becomes so interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Darragh, this is what you do as a rock and roller, is you teach other people now. So you say you have a workshop. Are you teaching people how to rock and roll like you?
Well, I wouldn't say I was teaching, because these guys already know. They were there. This is original. I mean, this was basically a way of kind of just getting out of the studio and getting away from doing my sort of vibe. And I was kind of invited to come down and do just, it's kind of what it is. It's really about because music basically triggers memories. So it's about really just triggering memories and getting people to move, and just it's a sort of therapy sort of workshop. So yeah, it's a great way for me to just come down and play some great old tunes and get a really great reaction when everybody's, sometimes it's really, really good, and you come out feeling really positive, and you feel like you've shared a moment with people, and it's just really rewarding, man. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's cool. And as I say, it's a million miles away from my everyday kind of tip. So it's nice to just feel like you're kind of, giving back a little bit, really. Yeah. So it's cool.
I love the way you speak, man. It shows the passion. I can feel the passion that you have, and the excitement that you have of talking to these people, getting your creative juices flowing. And could you give the people a little idea, maybe a bio of who Darragh is? And should I even be calling you Darragh? Is there another name that's better?
No, Darragh's the tip, man. That's the vibe. My full name is Darragh Brady. I was born in Dublin, and music was just in the family. Do you know what I mean? So it's been part of my bloodstream since I can remember. So yeah, I played in bands when I was like 15, 16 years old, and then got signed to EMI, made a few records with those guys, learned a little bit about the trade, and then I basically went to Australia for a tour, and then ended up working as a producer for one of their record companies down there called Festival Records, which is their sort of EMI, and had a couple of years down there sort of working and producing, and then came back to England, 2000 period of time, and then set my label up, Kusha Deep, and then just was doing production work, and mainly sort of like looking at getting material away really for films and TV sort of stuff with the catalogue that I already had. And then I put my first solo album out, because up until then I'd been working with a lot of other people, and then I put my first solo album out called Soul Hours back in 2008, and that did quite well. It was licensed to a few, mainly American, actually, with Hilary Duff, Beauty and the Briefcase, which was on ABC Films. It was kind of a relatively successful film. Snakes on Planes, a couple of other movies around that period of time, licensed a couple of tracks off there. And then I went on and did another, I did a project for another American film company, and they were making a documentary called The City of Hope, which was about two American guys that had gone down to Brazil, and they'd been given a bit of land, and they actually ended up setting up a school and helping kids out of the favelas. And I did the soundtrack for that, which was amazing. I mean, they literally did the results they were getting with these kids down in Brazil was just amazing. They were taking kids out of the favelas, and then their education system that they'd actually put in this school was so good that they were actually coming out and going to university and getting degrees. It was that good over a sort of good sort of 40-year period of time. And they really set up a shop. And these guys, two American guys, went down from New York to do this film, and I just got chatting with one of the guys, and they said, "Do you want to do the soundtrack?" So that was another little thing that happened. And then, various other bits and pieces. And then with this new album I've just finished off, called the New Kind of Normal album, it's just another batch of tracks that I just felt were kind of like necessary at that moment in time to express where I was at. And the album's doing really, really well now. I'm getting some good response on it. So hopefully you've enjoyed it.
Darragh, I have heard the 6 tracks that are available on SoundCloud, and it starts with a real, more of a dance flavor, and then it kind of evolves into more of a rock flavor. You've what is it? Fused different genres together to make a whole new sound, and it's fascinating. Indeed, yeah. It's beautiful. It's stuff that I will play at the club on Friday night, I believe.
I must give you the rest of the album, because I think that gives you a little insight into where we're at with it. But it's got an interesting flow to the record. And as I say, tonight when I get back to the studio, I'll send it over, the album, because we're actually on to doing a remix album of the album that's actually out at the moment, and which is interesting, which I'll come to in a minute. But yeah, I hooked up with a guy called Harvey Summers who'd worked with Paul McCartney and various other people, Alabama Shakes, and Steely Span. He's just produced Steely Span, are a big folk rock band over here.
Excellent.
So yeah, really cool vibe, and we just hit it off really well, and just ended up making this album and calling it Rockstep, which was like an amalgamation of where we were at, which was like rock and roll and dance music, because we both come out of the 90s dance tip, but we'd always been into our rock and roll, do you know what I mean? So yeah, it was a matter of just writing the songs and then putting the production around them, and that's New Kind of Normal. It is what it is, but it's also, each track has got its own kind of underlying storyline as well, so it's kind of doing its thing really. And as I say, getting some really good reviews on different magazines and radio stations. We broke a record actually the other day with a radio station down in South Africa for actually delivery and then getting the record on the radio within like 2 minutes. Basically, it was a mad one. This cat from New York, a guy called Brian Kroll,
right? He's
a musician and he loves this station down in South Africa. So anyway, I don't know why, but he said, Have you got Darragh's new record, Rocksteady, which is the next single off the album?
Yes.
And obviously they said no. They found my email. They emailed me, and I was in the studio, but I got this email, and I just Dropboxed Rocksteady over straight away. Within literally 2 minutes, it was on the radio, and that was that. I thought that has to be the fastest turnaround that I've ever known.
I think back in 1986, I was working on a radio station in Fort Lauderdale, and they handed me Midnight Oil's record, and I put it straight on the turntable and played it. Played Beds Are Burning. And I didn't even listen to it.
Wow.
They said, just play this, and I went, okay, I'll play it. Put it right on the air.
Yeah.
So I think it's not unheard of, but it happens. That is fantastic, Darragh, that people were so interested in your music in South Africa that they just put it straight on the air and gave you airplay. You don't look like an older person. You look very young to have had such an incredible life so far. I mean, where did you begin in Ireland? Tell me about that. The beginnings.
Well, I was born, in Ireland during the sort of height of the Troubles, really. And
when was this?
When there was a lot of issues with the Catholics and Protestants in sort of Ireland, and it was becoming quite sort of tricky to be there. So my father basically moved over to England, which is why I've got an English accent, just because it was a safer place to be.
What year was this?
But brought a lot of the kind of culture with us, really, to be fair. And I was sort of singing in bands, as I say, from a really early age, from about 14, 15. I was on tour from sort of like early age with different bands and stuff, and then just, as I say, got signed. I think I was like 19, 20 when I got signed to EMI, and then the sort of rest is kind of flows as the stories I've already told. You know what I mean? And as I say, it's about I think where I'm at is like I still have that one foot in the world of super cool rock and roll and country music that was always instilled into me. So whatever I do, I never really steer too far away from that melodic kind of vibe. But then, mixing different genres. And again, with the album, it really does go through a bit of a journey, subject-wise as well. There's tracks like Heavier Than Rock and Roll, which kind of, goes back to sort of September the 11th and how things changed as a result of kind of that event. And there's been one sort of heavier event after another, and I'm just it's kind of almost crying for people to kind of come back together again, and get past the kind of the traumas that we're sort of seeing by bringing a lot more unity back into our thought process.
Yeah, Darragh, I appreciate that you mentioned September 11th, but you've had your own share of heartbreak and tragedy in the UK and Europe and the like, more close to home to you. Tell me how those things have felt. I think that 2001, that was a real trigger event for a lot of stuff that's happened. And the 21st century, I think, because the 90s just seemed so sort of euphoric, everyone sort of seemed on a real euphoric kind of buzz that, things were going to get amazingly better, and they sort of didn't, and I don't think they have yet. I don't think the 21st century has actually taken off yet in terms of where it should be on a sort of spiritual level. So, that record, what I'm trying to do is bring back that kind of element of kind of frequencies of unity, if I can say that. Do you know what I mean? And and again, subject matter's moved from sort of Heavier Than Rock and Roll to Rock Steady, which is about being okay with being independent and being single and not crumbling. Do you know what I mean? And there's other tracks on there like Lights, which I wrote about Robin Williams when he committed suicide, and that gave me the idea. And that gave me the idea for that song to write a song about in that moment of darkness, that hopefully there'd be someone there to say, look, just hold on, let me keep the lights on for you. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that if there's not everyone can have somebody there at that moment in time. Do you know what I mean? But it's kind of calling that for someone in that moment of darkness that you're not on your own. Do you know what I mean? And that track, The Lights, which I will definitely get over to you, has been. That's probably one of my favourite tracks on that record, because it sort of sets us up for this what we're now calling, although we're doing the rock step thing now, we've got this another genre that we're exploring called gothic soul music. Really, but it's very gothic, but it's very soulful at the same time. And so as I say, that New Kind of Normal album's really got some different storylines on there. And Diamonds in the Shadows, which you heard the opening track on that album, that one's really about not, we're all born like diamond light, but we kind of get this moss over ourselves, and we shine less and less because we get put down more and more. And that track is really just a call to say, look, dust that moss, clean that moss off, and allow yourself to shine, because life is a short. To quote a guy called Andy Heap, who runs an agency in New York, life is a short dance in the sunshine. He always says that to me when I'm talking to him. Do you know what I mean? And the record's positive though. There's some more positive moments. Night Step is a big sort of rock step kind of tip about being a musician on the road and never sleeping and living it. You live at night. You don't really see much of it. I do now, but there was a period in my life where I never really saw the daytime. It was always
you were living for the night. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that Night Step is kind of a bit of a kind of an epic, hands in the air kind of like, homage to that kind of tip. So record's good, dude. You know what I mean? The record's good.
Oh, I believe it, Darragh. It sounds great. You're explaining it very precisely, and through tragedy comes creativity. And it sounds like you've taken your muse from things that have happened in the world and made them into a song, and perhaps through that you will help other people to avoid those tragedies in their lives. Hopefully, you've been able to put them into song. Now, are you a musician as well? Because on your bio it says you're a musician. Do you play any instruments, or are you producing music?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
No. I mean, I play it. I play guitar, piano, drums, bass. Anything I can get my hands on. Really, to be fair.
Wow.
Yeah, sing, write, produce. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, pretty much. And I've got 2 books out as well. So there's a couple of books out on Amazon at the moment. One's called Road Tales, which is about being on tour and meeting incredible people on the road that all had very interesting, life-changing stories. And like for instance, down in Australia, I met this Aboriginal guy who was from the stolen generation. And when I say the stolen generation, Aboriginal kids were taken away onto Christian reservations and brought up as Christians, which is cool, but they were kind of like lost in where they were at because they were sort of tribal, but they were brought up as Christians. But that wasn't like an issue, because actually it ended up being quite cool thing for this guy. So anyway, this guy I met is part of that generation, and he used to play in church. He used to play a mandolin in church, right? Mm-hmm. Like every Sunday he'd play this mandolin in church. And he also worked in a sheet metal factory. And one day he was cutting this sheet metal, and this piece of metal came right down and cut his hand clean off, man.
Oh, no.
Anyway, so the people in the factory basically managed to get him to hospital, and they sewed this hand back. And I swear to God, I saw this hand. I saw the stitches were still there, man. And this was his eyes were blue, like Aboriginal kind of coloured skin with blue eyes. He was like the most amazing guy I'd ever seen. Anyway, he said that basically he used the power of faith, and he just used to pray every day and every night that he would get the use of his hand back. And he said within 18 months he took his mandolin to church, and everyone was like, "Oh God, what's he going to do?" And he spoke to the priest, and he said, "Listen, could I play the mandolin?" And the priest has obviously gone, "Well, yeah, if you want to," but thinking it's not really going to happen because the guy hadn't shown any use in his hand to anyone. He kept it as a secret. Mm-hmm. He pulls this mandolin out. He pulls this mandolin out of the case, man, and he plays. And he said he played like an angel was coming through him. And that story is about faith. It's about the power of faith. So each tale, there's 15 stories in that book, and each tale has got a different sort of human kind of like element of like, and it asks, what is that? What is that power that we have? From sort of being able to heal people. There's this guy that an artist in there that I met up in the northern Queensland who through art had actually got this girl to speak again. Do you know what I mean? Like so it's like a little book of miracles, man. It's called Road Tales. It's out on Amazon now.
Yeah, I'm looking at your Amazon, and I'm finding your music, but I'm not finding your book. I really want to read that book. That's amazing.
So you have to, where you're going to get a little confusion here is like, so the book is under my full name, which is Darragh, Darragh, J Brady, Brady. And so if you kind of sorry, it's just doing my blood. I'm just doing an interview in America. Sorry. So they want to take my blood.
Oh, that's real life.
Take my jacket off.
Do it.
Hang on.
Take his blood.
For some reason, this is live, by the way, folks. So yeah, so if you go DARRAGHBRADY, Darragh J Brady, Road Tales should come up, and then there's another book called The Night That Jimmy Died, which is basically about a girl I met who was born in the same hospital on the same night that Jimi Hendrix died, and basically it's a book about what if souls kind of crossed over, and this girl becomes like the most amazing guitarist ever, and it's quite weird. I'm doing this chat with you now. I've got this thing taking my blood thingamajig, so probably way over the top now.
Why are they taking your blood?
I don't know. She just this nurse just decided she wants to take my blood.
Sure, come on in. You were just doing a thing with your musicians, and somebody came in and took your blood.
Yeah, basically, it's one of these surreal moments. You know what I mean? And 1 minute I'm doing a sort of music workshop, the next I'm doing an interview, and now I'm having my blood tested. You know what I mean? It's quite weird because when it kind of like expands on your arm, it feels like it's going to crush your bones. You know what I mean? But hopefully I'll be deemed well. They're looking at me now. Am I well? Am I all right?
So I found the 2 books that you made.
Cool, man.
Road Tales and The Night That Jimmy Died. Fantastic that you were able to spin your creativity into another direction, not only music but also in print. What other avenues are Darragh's creativity going?
Sorry, I've got this crazy. I'm just getting stabbed now. What, you don't want to take my blood as well, are you? Oh, lordy lord. Let me focus on this tip. Sorry, mate. It's weird.
Yeah. Are you in a hospital?
Sorry. No, I'm not. I'm in a nursing home, man. Do you know what I mean? It's a dementia care home, man.
Okay.
Ow!
Okay.
No, it's ow. Ow!
Hey, this is good radio right here. I'll tell you.
Dude, what are you doing?
We're all imagining them stabbing you.
Come up an error on this scanner thing. Oh, lordy lords. Jesus. Are you trying to stab me with that thing? My God. Anyway, sorry, I missed the question.
Oh, no worries. No problem at all. This is good
sorry,
radio.
What was the question again, man?
Well, no, we're all imagining people stabbing you with little needles.
With knives. Yeah, well, I'm getting... I don't know what's going on here, but it's all crazy.
Okay, why are you in a nursing home?
I'm not going to say that on air. Sorry. I'm not saying that. So basically 2 books out, album out.
No, you're still trying to tell the story. Why are you in a nursing home, Darragh?
So so I do this dementia care home. We do this thing. I've got high blood pressure now. It's because I'm doing an interview and I'm buzzy. So I do this music workshop, man, like a therapy thing for dementia care patients on a Thursday afternoon.
How sweet!
And I just come out of doing this jam, and obviously you've kind of given me a shout. So obviously I'm doing this vibe with you, and now I'm getting attacked by these nurses saying we're going to take your blood. I don't know why. It's not Halloween, is it?
It's getting closer.
Nice well-being health check.
Ow! Ow!
Okay.
Did you get any? Oh no! Help me! Why am I being tortured?
I have to finish this interview before you pass out from them taking doing all the bloodletting. You know, I realized in the UK they did bloodletting back in the what is it, the 17th century and before.
They did. They used to put leeches on wounds, didn't they, to sort of draw out kind of stuff.
So you're getting a little bloodletting right now, Darragh.
Hang on, Katie is telling me they used to do it on.
They used to do it on leeches to draw out like fevers and infections.
I've just been told leeches were used for fevers, taking fevers down and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Please don't let them take your temperature and find that you're having a fever, because they will bring the leeches out.
No, it's just
I'm getting slightly worried here because it's all going to be odd. The scanner. So basically, you know, we've got to get these records over to you, man. We'll get this album over to you because you've only got half the story there with the SoundCloud tip. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
And you need that because as I say, we're on to the remix album now, which is really cool. We've got some amazing producers from around the world doing remixes of the tracks on the album. We just had a remix on Lights, the one I told you about, which is about Robin Williams, and it's basically the guy out in India has just done this remix, and it's just huge, absolutely huge. And again, I sent it down to this cat down in South Africa, and he played it. Literally, didn't just come out of the studio. I literally got it within an hour. These guys are amazing. It's an amazing radio station down in South Africa. They just drop stuff way off without even listening to it. Do you know what I mean?
Now, the music that you have on your SoundCloud, Darragh, it's already bass-driven and kind of got a dance beat to it of sorts. And now, what are they remixing it to? Because it's amazing what some producers can do. They can make them into techno and EDM and turn a rock song into a country song, really, if they put the right backbeat to it. What are they doing?
Yeah.
With their creativity, or did you give them complete license to do as they please?
I do to a degree, definitely. I think for this remix album, I sort of, I just basically sort of given them the tracks to say, where do you? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no point in me kind of trying to dictate. And actually, I've already done 3 on the actual album. The album released, New Kind of Normal, has got 3 remixes, 2 of which I did, and then another one that Harvey did on his own. And so we kind of know that kind of routine, quite well, the club circuit, because we were at it in the 90s, man, busting it on the sort of club circuit, so we know about remixes and all that malarkey. It's kind of like right up our street. So the remix album really is just going to be a reflection of wherever these guys want to take the mixes. But yeah, the lights is huge, and I'll get that over to you. It got dropped, as I say, on Fusion Radio in South Africa this week, which was amazing because, as I say, it's literally just come into the studio, and ow, that hurt.
Oh no! They're stabbing Darragh in the arm, I'm guessing.
They're taking my blood live on radio.
Why are they taking your blood? You're not there for any kind of medical procedure, are you?
I don't. I'm not. I'm just. I don't know. I'm getting attacked. It's all weird.
I'm a musician. Tell them I'm a musician. I'm just here to teach people.
I know. I'm drinking my own blood now.
No. Okay, so vampirism is alive.
My blood pressure's high. No, this is bad.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Your blood sugars are perfect.
Blood sugars are good, dude.
Okay, good.
I've just been. I've got 3 beautiful women around me, by the way.
That's fantastic.
Gorgeous ladies. I've got a lovely lady called Tree. She does all the entertainment stuff, and I've got another lovely lady called Katie. And you're on the radio. Yeah, in America. In America.
Oh, hi guys.
Do a nice English accent.
Hello. I'm just going for afternoon tea.
Okay, I'm going to put Tree on for you. She's going to do a little Barbara Windsor routine for you.
All right, Tree.
Hello, sweetheart.
Hello, you're on the What Makes You Famous podcast.
Oh, hi. Hi, everyone.
Welcome to the show.
Hello,
it's Keys Dan.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm just popping off for afternoon tea. So you enjoy the rest of your day in the States, and I'll enjoy the rest of mine over here in the United Beautiful Kingdom.
How stereotypical, Tree, popping off for the afternoon tea. That's all we know about you, is that you have your tea.
Afternoon tea with a raspberry jam, I'll have you know. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
And a scone.
And a scone.
So there you go. We're all quite mad here. We're having quite a mad little moment of excursion into the surreal world of like having my blood tested by 3 lovely looking nurses.
Well,
which is quite cool.
For the Americans, that's very, very stereotypical. Having the tea and the scones.
Very British. 4:00 in the afternoon, mate. It's tea and scones. Otherwise, people they'd leave. They wouldn't work.
I've heard that arguments stop and wars have been ended because it's tea time. Is that true?
I'd say it was a motivation to get the battle finished pretty quickly. Definitely. I mean, there's a great scene in the Battle of Britain, which was obviously, amazing film, The Battle of Britain, shot in 1969, not far from where we are now, right on the coast here. And all the Battle of Britain boys. And there's a classic sort of scene where sort of one of the RAF air marshals basically says, he sees the German fighter pilots, and he says, help yourself, chaps. There's no fighter escort, and we'll be home for tea very shortly. And you just sort of think that when they're looking at like a multitude of like Heighnal bombers and Messerschmitt 109s, and they're still as cool as that, and you just think, that's pretty good in the line of fire, that you're not having a panic and just thinking about tea. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, cool, the British definitely. There's another quote from another film, and it said the entire British Empire was created on tea. And if you think I'm going to work without one, you're sadly mistaken. So, yeah, that's a huge kind of tea thing that goes on here. But actually, they say that tea is an amazing thing, and it's really healthy, and it actually stops heart attacks. So it's a good thing to be on. And the coffee thing's cool, but it's definitely it hits your adrenals a bit hard, doesn't it? And people, yeah. tea's the go, man.
I hope that tea thing is true. I drink gallons of it, so yes, I'm hoping that tea will keep prolong my life just a bit.
Well, I think it will. So if you've got to give me a little background on where you guys are from, and you know what's your hometown, buddy?
Well, I was born and raised in Miami, but I moved to Conway, Arkansas, which is just a little bit north of Little Rock, Arkansas, and almost in the mid-south of the country of the United States. So it's real southern. Lots of things to see and do in Arkansas. It's amazing. I moved from the ocean where Florida is, and then into the center of the country where there is no ocean. So my life turned from blue to green. So that's where I'm at. But this What Makes You Famous podcast just came on as a way to speak to people and learn about people from all over the world, really. And now I'm learning from Darragh of Kusha Deep Productions.
Kusha Deep Records,
Kusha Deep Records.
No, it's a fantastic thing, and so Arkansas, man, that's Bill Clinton country, isn't it?
You got that right.
Am I right in saying?
He's only a couple hours away from me. I think they're living in New York now. Yeah, but certainly, his hometown, his boyhood home, is a mere 2 hours away from me.
Wasn't he a governor down there as well for a little while?
That is correct. This is before I moved to Arkansas, but certainly he was.
Yeah.
So yes,
I remember being
you're interested. It sounds like you're aware and interested in American politics, and really, I don't know a lot about British politics at all. And should I call it British or English or UK?
Well, I do keep it. Yeah, I do keep an eye on sort of what happens in America because I'm sort of very influenced by American culture. Particularly American rock and roll and soul music. I've always been interested in America, and I've been over a couple of times. I played in Seattle, did a couple of shows in Vancouver, and then went down to Seattle. And I remember being in Seattle, and there's a C-SPAN, I think is it C-SPAN?
That's a TV television? Yes, I believe it's a television station, sure.
Yeah. And Bill Clinton was on, but he wasn't in power at that point, but he was just doing a speech, and I remember sort of listening to him and just thinking, crikey, that boy could deliver a speech, that lad. really, really could make you cry.
Charisma.
That's how powerful Bill Clinton was, a powerful, powerful man, regardless of whatever happened in his prime period of time. But he was a good leader, and when you look back on the Clinton period of time, it was a relative period of sort of like safe hands. Do you know what I mean? From where we are now,
you were talking about the 90s as a.
Yeah, I think they were. When you look back on the 90s, they were definitely you didn't feel like the world was about to end any minute. Do you know what I mean? When we got like the cat that's in power at the moment, and I'm not for, not against, really. Do you know, I'm not going to sort of come out and say he's this, he's that, but it's definitely a period of time where it's not kind of stable like it should be. Do you know what I mean? With a diplomat that can handle. I think that that kind of politics, that kind of shotgun politics, is kind of quite dangerous. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he is doing his politicking from the hip, really. Whatever's on his mind, it seems to go off on social media straight away with no filter at all. That could be dangerous. You need to learn to think a little bit before you speak. I do respect the office of the presidency. It's a hard job. He's trying to run the country. But he's trying to. It seems like he's trying to run the country single-handedly rather than using his team. But he did warn us before he became president that he had a big brain and he did not need to listen to anybody.
Yeah, right.
That was
I don't know.
That was his warning.
It just seemed a bit strange because I remember sort of watching that whole run, and there was Marco Rubio. I think he was from Florida, and I thought, he was a good speaker, and I just thought, there was the couple of other cats that were sort of on the bill with Trump actually sort of seemed a little bit kind of like more diplomatic. But and I actually like Rubio. I thought Marco Rubio. I
Yes,
thought he was
that is
quite
the
a
name.
cool. I thought he was quite a cool cat. You know what I mean? And it just seemed a bit odd that you'd go that you know, Donald Trump, who's an amazing businessman, no doubt about it, absolutely amazing, but just didn't seem like an obvious choice to run the Republican Party. Do you know what I mean? I think what we do need now more than ever is kind of unification of energy, of people and ideas, and we've got to find ways of bringing it, because we've got a similar thing going on here now with Brexit, which is really dividing the country so badly. And although there is fors and against for each argument, we have to find common ground to come back together, because otherwise, you know, split nations don't really achieve a great deal when we're sort of looking at the kind of the negatives all the time and bringing out the negative kind of aspects of our human nature. It doesn't sort of like allow us to kind of look forward and actually be building in a time which is actually, we're being, you know, one of the biggest threats we've got is climate change. Do you know what I mean? With regards, you know, and we need to be thinking about, you know, creating stability on the planet rather than sort of like, you know, worrying about who said what, where, and this, that, and the other, and da 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 da. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
so
yeah,
I think that, you know, we do more than anything, particularly here and in America, particularly need that sort of unification of a you know, somebody that can bring us all back together. You know, that's the deal, and that's what I try and do with the music. I try and bring, you know, an energetic of unity, sort of like with the vibe that I do, and that's you know, it's a role, you know, that I feel is important within music. Again, you know,
I love that you brought it back to the music, Darragh. You know, because you were talking about some very important things in the world. That was another thing that our president did, is he pulled out of the Paris agreements. But it seems like that didn't affect business too much. They were still on track to do the things that they were going to do to improve on the environment. Not a lot of the bigger corporations that were in any effect to the environment were decided that they were going to step back from that. They stayed steadfast, and even though we were pulled out of the Paris agreements for the climate, you know, climate change, whether you believe it's natural or it's man-made, it is happening. Yeah. It certainly is a cycle that the Earth has had in the past.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
we if we can prevent our demise through our actions, please, let's do it. So, Darragh, you think deep. Go.
It's a no-brainer, man. At the end of the day, that we should be. I mean, it's like you going home and just trashing it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's not really going to be. That's not going to aid your well-being when you come back and you know your house is kind of because you don't care about it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, we have to kind of respect the building that we live in and the planet that we walk on. And I think that too many people basically take it for granted. You know, we take our planet for granted. We get up every morning. You know, we eat and drink from the fruit of its, you know, fruit basically, you know, and we have to kind of, you know, really appreciate it. And I see a lot of people, and they just don't, you know, they're speeding down the freeway or our motorways, or they're rushing somewhere here, there and everywhere, and not really taking time to actually appreciate what you've got, because, you know, it's only got to go up a couple more degrees and we're in big trouble, man. We're not going to be going to the shopping mall and buying a brand new TV, you know, and watching endless amounts of soap operas on it anymore, because there won't be a planet for you to do it on. And you know, I just think that, you know, as I say, it's a no-brainer, man. Regardless if it's natural or, like you said, or man-made, there's an issue, and we need to be respectful of that issue and try to do the less we can to provoke it any further. So, but that's a huge one, man, and I think that it's definitely planet over profit every time. But what you're dealing with is education, isn't it? Really, at the end of the day, educating people to sort of realise that, you know, that bit of bread you've got might not be there tomorrow if you don't appreciate it. That was one of the things my mum always told me. She always said, look, if you don't appreciate something, you might not have it forever, so appreciate it, respect it, and you'll hold on to it.
Sounds like a very wise lady, Darragh. And things on your mind that are on the minds of people all over this planet. If people will just take the time to talk to other people, you'll find that,
Exactly.
that we're all thinking about the same things. We're all worried about the same things in general. We might be going at them in different ways. I know we have a two-party system here in the United States where it's Democrat and Republican, but if you talk to a Democrat, you talk to a Republican, and really get deep on the subject of who they are, they want the same things. Everybody wants roof over their heads, food in their bellies, money in their pocket, and a nice place to live.
Yeah. But I think within that framework, there has to be a kind of like a respect for where we are, the life that we have, and the planet that we live on. That should be instilled from the word go. That it is an honor to be here. You know, that it's, hey, let's take JFK's like, ask not what you can do for your, what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And let's reverse that to the planet. Ask not what the planet can do for you, but what you can do for the planet. We should reverse that. That's a fantastic statement. You know, and that's where I think we should be now. You know, thinking about what can we do to keep this as in pristine, condition as possible. And what's going on down in Brazil with the Amazon kind of stuff, it's horrifying, man. You know, even in our local situation, we've got councils just building on beautiful farmland, and without really thinking about the infrastructure, so it's constant construction, constant profit, constant movement forward, and actually it's unsustainable. All of it's unsustainable, and we have to sort of like get to that point where we can go, enough is, being happy with enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not really kind of
all this information that comes at us, Darragh, we have to know where we can put our resources into as an individual, or even as a corporation. What do you choose where do you choose to save? Be it the rainforest or the climate change or diseases of all kinds. Where do you put your efforts? You have to. You can't spread yourself so thin, but you do have to find some cause that you believe in. And what are you most passionate about as far as social causes or political causes, Darragh?
Well, again, my first port of call is going to be the planet, man. Do you know what I mean? And then I'm an animal activist. I believe in sort of animals being treated fairly and having a respectful vibrations towards them and allowing them to live happy lives. Do you know what I'm saying? And not being just deemed as kind of like disposable, whether that be a dog that's been abandoned or whether that be, the way that people sort of like treat, the whole meat industry, man, needs a good look at. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm all about basically sort of like animal protection and keeping the planet pristine. There'd be my first two ports of call. Do you know what I'm saying? Yes. I mean, I think there's enough of us on the planet to basically be able to kind of spread ourselves in directions that, moving into sort of like, sorting diseases out and this, that, and the other. I believe that, there's probably cures for cancer already that just haven't been sort of unearthed yet. It's all there basically waiting to be discovered. So I think other people have got that covered. But hey, my vibe is really just about trying to bring unity through music. That's my deal. And if I can do that, then even just here, if I could bring people together, who have gone through amazing lives and now, unfortunately, through no fault of their own, have suffered like this dementia thing, which is, it can hit anybody at any age. I mean, they've got cats in here that are sort of 40 upwards. Do you know what I mean? And so music is a healing thing.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
And if I do it through that sort of rock and roll kind of vibration, or whether I do it through, when I was out in Australia, we made a record called Breathe, me and a guy called Orlando Allen, and we were sort of studying frequencies and what frequencies had an effect on different parts of your body. We were working certain frequencies into music to sort of create a healing kind of tone. Do you know what I mean? And using that with breath. And we did it for as a thing for a lady that was doing these workshops around Australia, and she was having some amazing results by using this record of getting people into really good healing spaces. Do you know what I mean? Not saying that they were going to cure sort of. Hello, you still there, brother?
Oh, absolutely. That you
yeah. So yeah, I'm just saying that the power of frequencies, man, can really change things. Healing wise as well. So music's got that kind of like a frequency that can kind of like work in a healing aspect, and also sort of like in a song based situation where you can trigger memories and actually get people to kind of remember things, or which can create like a whole condition change. You can take someone from being pretty sad and heartbroken to sort of feeling joyous. Do you know what I mean? But with a change of a tune or a song or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So music is a power base, and I think that it's something that's always been with us. Always been with us and always got us through. And it's still that relevant today. I think that some music has maybe moved away from that kind of healing energy a little bit, and yet there's still sort of like, I can sit down now with a guitar in front of you and play you through that whole album, and hopefully be able to reach you on an energetic level, where it would be intellectual or sort of spiritually. Do you know what I'm saying? So
sure.
Music to me is like, it's always been something that is just it's just amazing. It's a big part of our lives. You know what I'm saying? It's and I think that hopefully it's due to the internet's opened up avenues for us to be able to explore those even more. Do you know what I mean? But we can reach people like we're doing now. We can talk to each other. 20, 30 years ago, this would have been a lot harder to do. So, yeah, man, if I can do anything, it's really just raising people's spirit with a tune. That's it. It doesn't get any more complicated than that.
Well, you're raising my spirits, Darragh. You're telling me things.
Man, it's cool.
Oh, absolutely. It's amazing what a musician, an entertainer, the power that they have to heal or to destroy. You have a microphone in front of thousands of people potentially, and with this podcast, perhaps even more, where you can give people something to think about, a viewpoint, and perhaps join people together or unite them, for a better word, for a cause. And you want to protect animals, protect the planet. Those sound like good causes to me. Sounds great. Well, I think we need this planet. We're going to need it for a long time.
We are indeed, man. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, man, that's it. I'm not a complicated cat. You know what I mean? I'm just, like I think Bob Dylan once said, I'm, just a song and dance man who just tries to lift people's spirits. And I'm no different from the troubadours, man. Like I can take a guitar. I don't really sort of, I'm not all about technology, although I love being in studios and I love kind of like, equipment, this, that, and the other. I'm always about the song. You know what I mean? It's always about the song and what's the song doing, and can I play it to you on a guitar or a piano? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of people are very kind of technical, much about the beats and the grooves and the this, that, and the other, and that's cool. But if you listen to, say, Diamonds in the Shadows, man, I can play that to you on a guitar. That's a song. That's not just a bass line and a drum line. It's an actual tune. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that's the difference between myself and maybe sort of a lot of other people is like the melody and the structure of a song is really, really important to me. That they feel like they're a whole body of work. Do you know what I mean? That you can express. Whereas like, I don't know, a lot of the kind of stuff I'm hearing, I'm not going to say anything, but other than a lot of the stuff I hear, I can't imagine you really wanting to play like down the road in 10 years time. Do you know what I'm saying? But I definitely feel sort of a song that will last forever. You know what I mean? So
it seems
it's
like
all about the tunes.
The songs that last forever are the ones that give you a feeling, that either uplift you or make you think. The ones from the 60s that you're still thinking about today, from Chuck Berry to the Beatles to the Rolling Stones, and the Rolling Stones are still going.
They're still going.
Oh my goodness! If I was 70, 80 years old, I still want to be doing what I'm doing. Please, what a dream! But
Exactly.
you know, the ones that last, the ones that have staying power, do bring people together and give people pause to think. And Darragh, I'm guessing that's what you're striving for with your music.
Always.
Yes.
Always, man, always. It's definitely got to be it's a 360 sort of spectrum of kind of, prodding the kind of the mind, prodding the spirit, prodding the sort of the feet to move. Do you know what I mean? And that in a piece of music, kind of like, I feel like it's, important for me, that it does that. And that album, New Kind of Normal, really does that. I think I really feel very sort of confident. I can say that album is like a 10-track album with 13 with the remixes, but each track does something completely different. And some of the reviews I've been getting on it is people saying actually this record is different and it moves around genres. I mean, there's an amazing magazine in Chicago called Jamazine, a guy called Ryan Martin who deals with that, who runs that show. And when he did a review on it and was saying he was really amazed of how great it was to just be able to move through different genres on an album and not feel that a lot of bands get stuck in sort of one kind of area and it's one song and where the next one's going to come and the next one's going to come. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas like this New Kind of Normal, which I like that idea of moving through genres. Do you know what I mean? And I think coming back to the Beatles, if I listen to any Beatles album, there was always like a different flow of songs on those records, right? From say Rubber Soul, Revolver, Peppers, of course. Do you know what I mean? There's always like an amalgamation of different kind of vibes. Do you know what I mean? They'd even put sort of comedy tunes on their records, like Yellow Submarine or whatever. Or they're going to put me in the movies. They're going to make a big star out of me. There was always something different on those albums, and that's what I try to do in a 21st century way is make a record that moves around a bit and says a few different things. And I think going back to the 60s as well, that people would sort of say, from what I've gathered and from interviews I've sort of seen, that people would sort of go, oh, so-and-so's got a new record out, and they'd instantly say, yeah, well, what's he saying? And I think that's important as well. What's he saying? What's the record saying? Is it just another throwaway kind of tip, or is there some depth and meaning behind it? And I can guarantee you, sort of like anything that I do will always have some sort of like theme behind it, or some sort of sublime sort of substructure going on that you can either listen to the tunes and nod your head, or you can kind of look at the lyrics and galvanize a storyline out of it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm a storyteller as well. I love telling stories, and that's the deal, my friend.
Right, Darragh. If you follow a musician's career that has any kind of longevity, you'll see where they begin and start to evolve. Usually the first albums are kind of homage to the influences that they had as younger people, and then as they come into their own and discover different styles and different genres and add them to their own psyche, it becomes influenced, and not influenced. You stop being the influenced and you become the influencer, and then you become the muse for other artists to come as you come into your own. And Darragh, I can already see with just the 6 tracks that I heard on SoundCloud, I haven't been able to dig any deeper, but you've already evolved into something different than when you first started. And the books, that amazes me that you wrote books as well. What other avenues have you explored for your creativity?
I've done a bit of acting, done a few things for the BBC, a couple of films.
Neat.
And I've done a bit of script writing as well. I wrote a play. So yeah, I'm always kind of like looking at different avenues of like kind of creativity and different ways of kind of expressing. Do you know what I mean? But music is something I always come back to. But yeah, I love filmmaking. Filmmaking's great. I've got this amazing filmmaking guy actually in New York who did the Night Stepper video, Heart-Shaped Pill videos, and he's doing Rocksteady at the moment, which is like, I'll tell you, I can give you a skinny on this one actually. He's doing a video on Rocksteady, and Rocksteady is about this kind of like individual who's saying, I'm okay on my own. I'm happy to be with you, but if you're going to try and change me, then I'm happy to kind of walk away, and I'm not going to crumble because I'm rock steady. But we had this idea for the video, and I'll give you an exclusive on this, but it's actually, I don't know if you've ever seen a film called American Werewolf in London.
Oh, for sure.
So it's got a little bit of that going on, where this cat basically, I don't want to give too much away because it's been shot as we speak, and it's going to be amazing when it gets done. So yeah, it's really, really cool. So shot in upstate New York, as the last ones were. Diamonds in the Shadows was actually shot in Atlanta. They're all on YouTube as well if you want to go and check out. If you go Kusha Deep, search Kusha Deep or Darragh, DAR.RA for the music, man. They're all on there. The videos are all on there, man. Do you know what I mean? And but what I've got to do is I've got to send you the rest of the album, so you've got a really good kind of like feel for the overall kind of tip on it, because I think that the 6 tracks are great, but you need to have the full shebang to kind of get the full flavour. Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So I need to get your email before. Well, if you email me, I'll get it over tonight. I'll Dropbox over the whole album for you, man. Do you know what I mean? And it's good. And hopefully you're going to play that, and we'll get some feedback from your audience.
So exciting. Well, thank you so much, Darragh,
no, thank you.
of Kusha Deep Music, for spending some time with me while you were getting stabbed.
Oh, man, it's cool. I know. That was the weirdest thing. I'm like in the middle of that. I'm getting like part bloody done and my fingers poked and 3 amazing looking ladies hanging out around me. And here I am looking at a fish tank now, sort of getting quite hypnotherapied out, actually, with these wonderful fish just staring back at me. And
it's amazing what a man will do for a pretty lady. You'll get stabbed in the arm.
You know what I mean? I know. I'd do anything for a pretty girl. I would. No, I'm only kidding. I've got to go and do another show now. I've got one more unit. I've done 2 already. I do 3. I've done 2, and I've got one more to do. So I'm going to go off and do this last little gig, and then we're off for the rest of I'm actually back in the studio when I get back. Doing some. We've got a new single I'm working on called Whiskey and Honey, which now I know where you're at. I can send you out the like bits and pieces when they come back and they've been mixed and mastered. I'll send you out some exclusive mixes, man. Do you know what I mean?
I'm very
But first
privileged.
and foremost, we're gonna get you out this album, man, so you can play it to your audience down in Arkansas, man. And maybe I'll come out when I come out on tour. We've got some really good support in America at the moment, from radio stations, and also sort of from some of the TV stations like LA TV have been playing the videos, H2O in New York have been playing the videos, Nashville cable TV, they've been sort of playing the videos down there as well. Quite a lot of radio stations across the board, from Seattle, New York to Los Angeles also, and quite a lot of magazines as well. So what I'm really trying to do is build up a bit of a flavour in America so we can come over and tour.
Now, Darragh, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask where the name Kusha Deep came from.
So the Kusha Deep basically comes from when I was coming back from Australia, and I was in Bangkok and was reading a book about Vedic culture, which is like about ancient Indian culture. And Kusha Deep, Kusha is grass, and so in Sanskrit, when they used to say Kusha Deep, they was referring to Africa, because when they used to go to Africa and they were trading on the old boat, they would just see this long grass. So it was ancient Indians' way of expressing what they called Africa was called Kusha Deep. And I thought, well, that's a really good ring. I like that, Kusha Deep, da-da-da-da-da. And then I thought, well, that's really cool, because Africa is kind of the home of the drum and the home of rhythm, and you know what I mean? Like, all the African American kind of cats, do you know what I'm saying, that came over and created blues music and all that vibration, which then created rock and roll. And I thought, well, you know what I mean, it originated in Africa, didn't it, when you think about it? So Kusha Deep is kind of like got that backstory to it.
I believe that to be true.
Yeah.
How do you want the people to connect to you, Darragh, of Kusha Deep Music?
So you can find me on Facebook if you put in Kusha, KUSHA Kusha Deep, you can find me there. Or if you want to go on to Instagram, it's da.ra.brady, Darragh Brady, and or you can find me on YouTube as well. Just search out dar.ra and you'll be able to find me, or just Google search and you'll be able to pick up all the interviews, all the sort of all the music and all the information that you kind of need. And in the meantime, like I say, I'll get some more stuff over to you, so you've got you've got some more material that you can play for your audience.
Now, you say you only have one gig left for the rest of the year. Where is that?
No, just for this one session that I'm doing. I just said, like, I've got this little podcast we're going to do in the middle of it, but I'm going to go off and do the last little unit now before I clock off for the rest of the day, and then we're back in the studio tonight finishing off some stuff. So
okay.
I do this every Thursday, man. It just gets me out of the studio and stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
As I say, it's a nice way of just lifting spirit with some music.
Any live performances coming up, Darragh?
At the moment, we're literally. I'm not playing in the UK at the moment, like band wise, but the idea really is at the moment is just to really focus our attention on the American sort of audience.
Perfect.
And just trying to build up as much kind of like interest as we possibly can. So when we come over and play, you know, some people will come and see us and support us. You know what I mean? That's the game plan really, is to come over to America maybe next year and do some shows, bring a bit of a vibe. You know what I mean? And funny enough, I'm actually just about to sign a management deal as well with a company in Canada, and they're doing a US tour next year. So there's a possibility of me coming over to America next year and doing some shows then. So I would love to come. It's like that would be like my biggest dream, is to come out to America and play some shows for you guys.
Oh, I'm excited for me, and I'm excited for you. If you come close, I'll get to a Darragh Kusha Deep Music show. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for chit-chatting with me, and hopefully this gives you a little more traction, not only in the United States, but hopefully all over the world. People find out more about Darragh and Kusha Deep Music.
I can't thank you enough, my friend. It's been absolute pleasure, and like big love to your audience, and I'm looking forward to coming out and seeing you all very soon.
Thank you. Any last words for the people?
Just, you know, stay positive, stay connected to the planet, and just spread love wherever you go.
Well, there you have it, party people. Darragh Brady, Kusha Deep Music, musician, singer, songwriter, author. I didn't know he was an author and an actor. I didn't even know he was an actor. Sometimes creators got to create. Entertainers got to entertain. You got to find different avenues for your creativity. And Darragh of Kusha Deep Music has found many different avenues of his creativity, from Ireland to Australia, all over that area, and even the United States a bit. He's been here, so I was so excited to talk to Darragh, and I feel bad that he got stabbed in the arm while we were talking, but that's good radio, I'll tell you. That's real life. He's there, entertaining some people in the old folks home. I don't know if it's an old folks home. It was the people with dementia, and music, it seems to heal. As far as he was saying, that the different vibrations seem to heal certain illnesses, and I believe it. When I listen to a certain type of music, it makes me feel good. That's for sure. So I fully believe that music can heal, and Darragh Brady of Kusha Deep Music is attempting to heal through his music and his writing, for that matter, and acting. So yeah, different avenues. Find Darragh online. If you need the links, they'll be in the show notes right down below. Check it out. Darragh Brady of Kusha Deep Music. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. If you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call at 501-470-6386 or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for me. Keys Dan, radiowhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here. Radio What? The music you want, with some great quotes. By the time man realizes maybe his father was right, he usually has a son who's thinking he's wrong. Charles Wadsworth. The music you want. RadioWhat.com. This is Keys Dan.
And this is Shelly G.
And you're listening to
Radio What.com.